we print on non-treated fabric. We apply our water-based inks on a non-treated fabric, which is challenging by itself. You want to prevent the ink from wicking into the fabric and exhibiting any visual defects. So we flood the garment with a water-based mix we call fixation first. It's in line with the printing process. Then we jet our water-based inks. When those two consumables come in contact, the ink jellifies and then forms the structure through which we can control our colors and accuracy of detail. This wet-on-wet process allows our customers to meet industrial standards and produce quality goods that are meeting retail business. But it has a ceiling in quality and speed. And I'm talking about brands' superb quality requirements for durability and for prints. This is where the Max technology comes into play. The Max technology, in essence, is using our water-based pigment, 6-color CMYK red and green, but with the introduction of two new consumables, one being Q-Fix and the other being Intensifier, that are jetted within the printing process. We can exceed printing speeds to a volume that would allow our customers to scale and produce mass production with ease. Not just that, fabric with absorbency qualities has so much ink it could hold when printing wet on wet. This controls your quality, your how bright the white looks like. So if you want to exceed that level and meet screen-like standards in terms of luminosity of your print, the Q-Fix allows us to apply as much ink to the point where the luminosity of our print is our white pigment, which is very bright, as you will see in a minute. The Q-Fix, in essence, allow us to print very quickly without any concern of any visual defects that is a result of a wet-on-wet printing process. This system applies its white foundation in one single layer, while our HG platform does it in 2 layers, and it allows us to eliminate any needed delay within the process that builds up the layers to form a really fast printing mode. Not just that, it allows us to build layers of ink to form texture that is appreciated by a touch, and you will see it in a second in live.
I wanted to ask the whole group standing over here in this, are any of you guys screen printers? No screen printers?
You
are?
I have a screen printing company.
You have a screen print company. So what he's talking about by building layers,
Like puffing?
well, no, those extra consumables he's talking about, or the Q-Fix especially he'll talk about, that is a liquid digital version of what a flash unit is. Just like we use a flash unit in screen print to build layers and make the white look good and smooth, that's what Q-Fix does. And the Intensifier is almost like a digital catalyst because it has the same benefit too, it cross-links. And that's why I asked if there was
Thank you for that.
because that's huge on the Max side.
So the other consumable is Intensifier. It brings the durability to a superior level that would meet top leading brands' requirements for durability. I'm talking about more than 15 cycles of wash that would not exhibit any deviation from a reference. This is something that was very challenging from our side to achieve in our wet-on-wet technology without that Max technology. So there's no longer a concern when it comes to printing semi-transparencies or minimal ink like under dark colors that was most susceptible for that extreme durability stress. When I'm talking about speed, I'm talking about more than around 135 impressions per hour. When I'm talking about impressions per hour, I'm talking about a size of a file that is 13 inch by 13 inch at a pace of handling time that is 20 seconds. This system is really speedy. It requires an operator to dance in the flow of the rhythm of the system to allow our dual palette and dual bridge systems to do its thing. You'll see it in action in a second. We have 2 bridges that hold the inks separately. The white inks and the colors are held in two different carriages that could simultaneously print on both palettes, shortening the time for the print dramatically. So let's see how fast it prints and how vibrant the color would be in our, we call it high production mode, but from a quality standard standpoint, it's brand requirement for durability and impressive laydown of color. So now the system would print on a black shirt in a high production mode, which is way sellable by far. A single layer of white coated with a single layer of color. That's it. Being wet on wet requires curing. Our curing conditions for this technology is a spec of 310 Fahrenheit in 8 minutes. And I'm talking about effective curing conditions because not necessarily if you're setting up your dryer to that spec, the actual curing condition within the dryer would actually meet that spec. So I will soon introduce our smart curing solutions that is integrated in our solution. So the second print would be a premium quality print. This premium quality mode will apply 2 layers of white to achieve what I call screen-like white. It's luminant to the point where it's 95 in the L value, if it makes any sense to you. So it's really the vibrancy or the whiteness of our pigment. It happened on the fly that the shirt went inside the system and was sprayed with fixation. The spray floods the shirt and then the wiper comes down to smooth down the fiber. Then the printing process starts. We could do this on a white shirt. Obviously, printing on white shirts does not require any white base for the color. You can just apply the layer of color on top. And now you can take a closer look at how smooth the laydown looks like, how vibrant the whiting and the solidity of the laydown. What is unique about the Cupix is that it allows us to print on a very large variety of fabrics. We can print, we no longer need the absorbency qualities of the fabric. We can print on 100% water repelling material, which is very unique with our process. We can print on leather, raincoats, rain jackets, yes. Anything that could hold the heat is printable. Every material, and which is really exciting. When you would try to print that ink on polyester, since it requires curing conditions that are set to be at a high energy, so to speak, 310 is a high energy curing process. For the most part, polyester would then exhibit what we call dye migration. The dye that was used to coat the shirt itself would migrate and contaminate our ink. So this is why we have a dedicated system with a dedicated ink set that is curable at a lower energy. But for the most part, water absorbency is no longer a required attribute of a fabric that we want to print on. Now I want to show you something really interesting. Our XDI technology is truly groundbreaking. The ability to build up layers to form a print, a digital print with water-based ink that would ultimately, after curing, would be appreciated by a touch, allows us to emulate analog and traditional effects that are embellished on garments today, like vinyl heat transfer, like puff printing, like embroidery. Now, it's never here to replace those analog and traditional technologies. However, we're going to talk about the market trends and what is going to drive the increased use of this technology is customization and personalization, which are no longer available in our traditional and analog processes. You will see in a second that it does not require a very big compromise or anything of that sort when it comes to quality. It's adopting the new standard of customized, embellished prints. Now this is slower than that initial print because it's building 4 layers of ink. Our texture is based on the white ink, which has a higher viscosity. Building up 4 layers of ink is enough for us to apply a lay down that could form the texture that could be appreciated as embroidery or puffed print. After the book. Oh, yes. Yes. So this is a digital print. Yeah. So very soon this will come out. By the time we got, I'm going to show you something that allows our customers to stand out when it comes to XDR. A lot of you are familiar with the metallic foil press on prints. This is not something that is new. However, when you would press a foil that is metallic to a print, it would stick to everything that is on the garment, but only with the ability to raise certain elements of your print. You're then able to allow this foil to stick only to the elevated elements. So now you have a color print that has contour that is metallic. So this is additional process that comes into play, but is achievable only with our technology and allows our fulfiller to exhibit goods that would stand out in the market. Now take a closer look of that. This is wet. This is wet. If you touch it, it would smudge. It has the look and would have the feel after being cured of a college embroidered patch. Now, it's key to say that the complexity of the design does not change your production speeds. So there is no limit when it comes to creativity. And we as Granit grow that excitement around what could be achieved with this platform only by exploring and trying new stuff. Our customers are very interested about this potential and are looking for ways to educate the market in adopting these new technologies. Now, I'm going to show you after the physical demonstration, when we get together in the conference room, I'm going to show you that we also have a tool we call Digitizer, obviously, that allows end customer or a fulfiller without heavy artistic skills to apply effects on flat prints that would then translate to either embroidery or a contour that is going to be raised or just a texture that is going to show up under a color that could then be appreciated by a touch. I mentioned it earlier, curing is a key component in achieving a desired quality. And it was never on the Granit side. Our fulfillers have their own dryers and they would use our prints and would cure them with their own dryers, either purchased by Granit or by other parties. Bottom line, instead of continuing educating our customers to take ownership on the curing process, we as Granit took ownership on the curing technologies and now present smart curing capabilities, which really bring innovation that was for many, many decades never introduced in that industry. And I'm talking about high-end technology that is integrated within curing processes. I want to produce Stefan from...
Hi guys. Thank you. Can anybody hear me all right? Okay. So, Hefty already said it. Hi, I'm Stefan from Tesoma. We are the newest family member of Kornit, and we are providing the curing solutions for our Kornit applications. And Hefty already said it multiple times, smart curing is the topic. Kornit took ownership of the whole curing process, and we at Tesoma are specializing in curing solutions. For 30 years we have been doing textile dryers, and now together with our Kornit family we have developed this. The big guy over there, the big dryer, that is the Titan. Our newest model. It is suitable for taking care of the output of 3 Atlas Max systems altogether. And what does smart curing mean? Smart curing means that we connected the printer to the dryer. That means the Atlas Max is transferring printing data to the dryer itself. And they are connected via a Linux box. The dryer then sets itself up to the specific curing requirements necessary for each different garment. How does it do that? We are combining hot air drying with emitter technology, fast response emitter technology. That means when the shirt, or let's say when the garment goes in, a camera system, you can see it up there. If you don't mind, we can get a little bit closer.
I'm not sure exactly what days I'm gonna go.
When the garment is put on the belt, the camera system recognizes the garment and matches the image it's capturing with the data provided by the Atlas Max. This way it realizes, okay, this garment is with this print is going in lane 1, 2 or 3. And then the dryer will set itself up on the certain lane to the specific curing requirements. For example, let's say you have a black t-shirt with an intense print, a lot of fixer on it. The camera realizes that, double checks with the data, shirt goes in, the fast response emitters are switching on, using this radiated energy specifically tuned to the requirements of this amount of fixer, quickly evaporates the fixer, and the final curing to achieve wash fastness is done in the second part. We are using a 3-layer system here, so shirt goes in through the emitters, fixer is evaporated. We can do that with this technology much quicker than before. Before we had about 3 to 4 minutes time necessary to evaporate the fixer. Now we can go down to 1 minute. So that's a huge improvement. Shirt goes in, fixer is evaporated, it goes into the back of the dryer, then is transported down to the second layer, comes back, goes down to the third layer and comes out in the back. Like this, we can take care of the output of 3 Atlas Max systems at once, while having an optimal footprint. You can compare it, those 2 machines next to each other. This dryer, for example, is capable of handling 1 Atlas Max machine. Same footprint for this dryer, but capable of handling 3 Atlas Max systems. That is smart curing. The machines communicate with each other. The specific curing requirements are met for each different garment. Only the absolutely necessary amount of energy is consumed for each garment. As soon as the garment has passed, the emitters switch off, so saving energy. Thank you very much. Sorry? About 200,000. Okay.
Any more questions? Now they're gonna go something like this. It's how it's going to build. It goes like this. You have 3 legs. This is 3 vertical